This is Paul. Yes. I was looking in this index at the pound sterling. Yeah. There's an English money equal to 20 shillings or one gold sovereign. Yeah. Now, at the printing of this junior encyclopedia, it was equal to about $2.80 US. Oh. And then there's what's known as the War on Poverty and Anti-Poverty Program Populating for Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. And then the Job Corps, those that are poor, homeless, yes, unemployed, illiterate American citizens that happen to be motioning courts as indigent individuals. Then there's what's known as power. Yes. In physics, the energy to do something, the dynamo, the Industrial Revolution. See also atomic energy, electricity, energy, fuel. Internal combustion engine, machine, steam engine, and transportation. You know, I I really don't know if England. Yes. hmm it's an English money known as the pound sterling. Yeah. And I don't understand this Brexit. hmm This whole idea that you keep asking the European Union for an extension. Yes. Now, could somebody explain exactly what it is that England wants from the European Union? Because every time I read the headlines, yes, it doesn't matter who the prime minister is, for approximately the last year, year and a half. Yes. The House of Lords, the individuals that are in the employment of the government of England, yeah, they're all having this big talk about whether or not they want to be in the European Union or they don't want to be. Now, as I remember the pound sterling, there was a situation in which took place back in the 70s. Oh, Margaret Thatcher. Yeah. One of these well-known women of English government. Yes, she was. Then there was another individual named George Soros. Mhm. Do you remember George? Yeah. He had recently gotten married in the last 5 years. A beautiful woman, somewhat Asian. I think she's Asian American. Yeah. Well, George, a long time ago, decided that he was going to buy up the pound sterling. You remember that? Seemed like he wanted to crush, yes, the individuals in the employment of England because he wanted to own all of them. It's kind of like a cornering the market in the currency market. Well, why don't we call George today? Because, a long time ago, yes, there was what was known as infrared. It's something that you find on your key fobs. Yes, yes, yes. See, yesterday we were talking about various services. Yes. The auto security chip keys. Oh. Now, do you have a vehicle that has one of these electronic key fobs? Yeah. hmm Every time you push it, an infrared signal goes from the key fob to the electric ignition system. Yeah. Well, George had gotten hold of approximately 10,000 of those. Yes, he did. He wrapped them all in duct tape and put them in a satellite. And then he decided to use a little beam of infrared so as to affect the thoughts of those that he's wanting to influence. Now, this Euro, the Brexit, the entering in or getting out of European Union, do you still use the pound sterling over there? Because, let's say I got upset today. Not that I would, but let's say could you ask George Soros? exactly what satellites he has ownership of, and there was the Soros Sorcerer's Ray Gun. Yeah, the sex United Nations, right? United Nations sex. Seemed that George got involved in the royal family, and he had genetically engineered some large lizards that were actually very carnivorous, though they're herbivores. Yeah. How do you change an animal's eating habits? How do you go from herbivore to carnivore? Except for some sort of genetic mutation. Somebody's wanting to make the meanest lizard in the world. Yesterday I was at a community meal, And I noticed, and somebody said, you know what? They don't always get out of prison. Isn't that right? And I kind of stood there listening to the guy as he was explaining to me how this individual, yes, 6'10",